Good day and better drink to you, my friends. I'm the Caffeinated DM. Dungeons & Dragons is on fire right now, and many people are leaving the series for greener pastures, like OSC and Pathfinder. In many cases, the systems being swapped to may be so much different from what you would normally play that you may be considering setting up an entirely new campaign. Plenty of folks are happy to play episodically in the classic space of Fantasyland, or perhaps you're planning on swapping to a pre-built world like the one that Paizo's created. But for many dungeons and game masters, that's not nearly as fun as creating a brand new world or universe to explore. And if you're anything like me, it's both exciting and daunting. Today, I'm going to give you 3 new concepts that you can try in your next campaign. One campaign setting in an absolute apocalypse. One with a theme of grand space opera. And one set in a video game world. First, the apocalypse.
As a broad concept, this campaign hook is about retaking an entire continent's worth of civilization that was lost. Your players will be tasked with both solving a deep mystery and fighting an ever-adapting, all-consuming swarm. If you like the idea of blasting Xenos into oblivion, or maybe hex crawls, or campaigns without too many side characters or help from townsfolk, this may be for you and your players. Many years ago, an unexpected meteor shower delighted a small peasant town far out in the countryside. 2 children saw one of the meteors fall to the surface deep in the woods and decided to investigate it. They wanted to bring a shooting star home as a gift to their father, who worked day in and day out as a town guard. The children ran into the woods and found the smoldering crater. A large, porous rock in the shape of an oval was sat there, steaming hot from its journey through the atmosphere. The oval, though, was not a meteorite. It was in fact an egg. As the children gently climbed down into the small crater, they reached out to touch the object. It was the last mistake they'd ever make. A day went by, and their parents managed to gather a good number of the fellow peasants to search the forest. None came back. After another day, the town guard alerted the local battlement and then themselves trudged into the woods. They also didn't return. When the local battlement's captain arrived, they found the town abandoned and sacked. The captain searched, but found nothing and nobody, until one of his lieutenants discovered a hole beneath the bed in one of the homes. Soon it was clear. Some sort of creature, or creatures, were abducting the townsfolk. He alerted the Imperial headquarters and had his men and himself enter the newly tunneled cave system to find out what was going on. It was 1 week later that a large force arrived. It was a month after that when the capital fell. Each and every soldier that was sent was either devoured or transformed into a terrible husk of their former selves. They had turned gaunt, but weren't shambling about as if undead. No, this wasn't quite magic at all, but a sentient force from the stars that had come to eat and destroy. Soldiers of the Empire turned into footmen of an alien force, and soon the entire continent was under siege. You, and your party, know this tale well. It's told often on the island you live on, far off the shore in a remote part of the western seas. Empires that rose, fought, and were ultimately destroyed by a force that still lingers to the east. Are tales you're very familiar with. You're on guard duty, patrolling the shores as you have always done. Everyone must, many times a year, perform this guard duty. But today is different. Today, a large vessel without sails is heading toward your small island. You were told these creatures could not operate ships, but your island hasn't been visited in its entire history. Who or what is on that ship?
Next, let's tackle the science fantasy galactic opera setting.
The gods are good and have left remarkable temples of their own honor. Temples of metal, bright lights that mark unnatural caves, and most importantly, they left the single greatest gift of all to you, their children. A world to live upon. You wake up every day as the ring world you stand upon spins. In ancient times, the scriptures read, there were many worlds. There were countless gods, but the best amongst them came across a terrible foe. An ancient cataclysm wiped out most of them, leaving but a few alive. These remaining gods built the ring world, left holy temples, and seeded life throughout the habitable section. You and your party have been tasked with helping out a small town with their bandit problem, who are now held up in a temple deep in the sacred woods. Upon investigating, you find that these bandits disturbed a long-since-closed chamber deep beneath the ground. After defeating the guardian that blocks the way, you and your party discover an ancient automaton. It awakes and says it's happy to see new crusaders. Perplexed, you and your party ask it questions, but it ignores you and proclaims that it will run a diagnostics check. Upon doing so, it mutters, "That's not good," before powering off. The Holy Temple in the capital city may have a knowledgeable priest and perhaps a cleric who could bring the messenger of the gods back to life. After bringing it there and completing some tasks, they do manage to get it online. The automaton turns on and reruns its diagnostic test, ignoring all conversation. It then confirms that the ring is damaged, and contacts an operational headquarters. In unison, all the temples across the ring world shoot beams of light into the endless abyss. It's less than a few hours later that an alien vessel arrives. They seem to come in peace, though nobody can understand them. And then, a second vessel arrives, bigger, and it blasts a smaller vessel out of the air. The two opposing forces begin to battle with strange.
And finally, let's do a little bit of isekai. Either a video game or a TTRPG one.
Finally, a group of nerds who love TTRPGs, or perhaps a group of gamers, get a little too drunk during one particularly great play session. When they awake, they find themselves in the bodies of their characters. How did they get into the game? It's unclear. But what's for certain is that dying in the game would mean dying in real life. Of course, there's one more major problem. The big bad evil guy is trying to get into the real world. The only way home is through the interdimensional portal deep inside the castle of the big bad evil guy. The players will need to find a way to weaken the BBEG's forces, destroy or damage some of the defenses of their evil lair, and finally, defeat him in order to gain access to the portal that could take them home.
Each of these present a unique set of circumstances for players. If a hex crawl mixed with combat and themes of desolation and reconquest are up your alley, the first apocalyptic option may be for you. If you want to fight against an overwhelming technologically advanced force or take your game from planet into space, the second space opera option could be your ticket to the stars. Lastly, if you want something a little bit more fun, camp, sort of meta-narrative on TTRPG, the third and final campaign option could be the way to go. At the end of the day, all three of these campaigns are completely valid, but whatever's right for your players is probably going to be your best option. Remember, your players may not necessarily want to play as themselves. A lot of people play role-playing games to be somebody different. Some players hate Star Wars. That's okay. You just gotta not go with that option. So ask your players, as vaguely as possible, which of these three options they might want in their next campaign, and see if you can build something from there. If you need any help, feel free to ask in the comments. I'm always happy to give specifics.